The first time Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad came fishing ruled with an iron fist by the Nigerian nightmare Belal Muhammad.
Like a walking pigeon, play my position, I'm kinda dipping where I was kicking.
Now, things are different. Edwards is the champion of the division, and he has even defended his title twice against Usman and Colby Covington.
Leon Edwards doesn't say no to anybody. This kid is an absolute stud.
Muhammad, on the other hand, is still pretty much where he was, a seriously talented guy who many think doesn't have the profile of a UFC champion.
On Belal's behalf, I'm expecting a boring fight, you know.
Muhammad doesn't win fights with style points. He doesn't have an X factor. He's a jack of all trades and a master of none. But he's still as dangerous as any guy in the division. And when he steps inside the cage at UFC 304, he will have the chance to put his naysayers to shame. The question is, can he do it?
Well, Leon just being the champion and being confident in being the champion, I think he's going to be sharp.
The first battle between the two UFC welterweight stars took place in 2021 after an eye poke early in round 2 badly damaged Muhammad's eye. It wasn't intentional, but it was bad.
His accident, I didn't mean it, so I wish him nothing but recovery.
Did you know?
And Belal wanted to run it back as soon as possible. Edwards didn't feel the need for a rematch, since he was on a solid 8-fight winning streak. So he wanted to face the baddest welterweight on the planet at the time.
Winning the fight clearly. So I believe I should be next to a title shot.
The UFC wasn't kind enough to give Leon an immediate title shot, so he had to go through Nate Diaz to get it. And when he did, it was chaos.
Maybe it is all the triathlons.
Edwards fought Usman for the belt at UFC 278 as a heavy underdog.
Respect that he's a very, very tough individual, but he hasn't lost because he fought me. You know, I made him better, and he went out there and he started wrestling. But when he fights me again, he's going to realize that wrestling was all for nothing.
Usman was confident, but so was Edwards.
You cannot finish me, champ. Trust me.
I held your hand and I was beating the side of your face in.
When the cage door closed, Usman dominated the majority of the proceedings. But 30 seconds before the end of the fight, Edwards pulled off one of the greatest combos in UFC history to knock Usman out cold. In his own words, it was pound for pound. Headshot, dead.
One of the wildest head kick knockouts, I think the most important head kick knockout ever. Ever.
Yeah.
The two rematched at UFC 286, where Edwards defeated Usman by a decision to defend his crown before defending it against the fiery Colby Covington. While Edwards made his mark on the sport with stellar wins against tough competition, Muhammad did what he had to: win fights and wait for his shot at gold. The Chicago native had to work really hard to earn it by scoring 5 consecutive wins against Demian Maia, Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque, Sean Brady, and Gilbert Burns.
I think Belal is next. You know, the guy deserves. He beats everybody.
The rematch between Muhammad and Edwards is set for UFC 304 on July 27th. And when the cage door closes, the challenger promises to annihilate the champion.
Better. And July 27th, I'm going to be the best form that I've ever been. And that's going to be your worst nightmare. And I think I'm going to do everyone a favor on July 27th. After I beat him, we're going to be done. We don't have to hear about him no more. The UFC doesn't have to promote him no more because he's not going to be a champion. So then he'll be forced to do stuff himself.
Will Belal put his money where his mouth is? Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad approach fighting very differently. Edwards is a striking specialist who has mastered the art of surviving a wrestling onslaught, whereas Muhammad is a wrestling specialist who knows better than his peers the importance of throwing hands in a fistfight. They are both very well-rounded with different specialties. And if I were to offer a simplified analysis, the one who stamps his authority and uses his style to perfection will win the fight. However, there is never a simple answer to such a high-level fight. It's often a coin toss, and that's what Edwards and Muhammad will be, though the probability of Edwards winning is slightly greater. The reason for that is simple. Edwards had to go through a few very credible grapplers en route to a welterweight title shot, but his 3 title fights have been against the absolute elite. And except for a few takedowns that he credited to the high altitude in Salt Lake at UFC 278, Edwards has proven to be tough to take down even by Usman, as well as Colby Covington. If Usman and Covington couldn't take Edwards down, what makes anyone think Muhammad can?
And Belal Muhammad, I don't feel is a high enough level of a wrestler to take him down in the center of the cage, keep him down there, and win the fight there.
Here's the thing. Belal Muhammad has been training on and off with Khabib Nurmagomedov and his pack of Dagestani beasts in Dagestan for his fights, and his improvements showed against Stephen Thompson and Vicente Luque. Muhammad secured 7 takedowns against Thompson and 5 against Luque, and both fighters are known to have a decent takedown defense. That only means that Muhammad has come leaps and bounds in terms of his wrestling.
Streak. He's been, really, really sharpening up his tools, and he knows the kind of fighter he is right now. He's not a guy that makes many mistakes inside that octagon. So
therefore, it remains to be seen whether he can take the fight to the ground. If he can, that's great news. But if he can't, that's terrible, because then he'll have to stand and trade with arguably the best technical striker in the division.
Belal's got a shot here. He can grind out opponents. We've seen that in the past. The one thing I will say is Leon Edwards will have the speed advantage. He might have the size advantage as well. And I think when it comes to striking, he's going to be a little bit more crisp.
More so, Edwards isn't a slouch on the mat. He's very strong and unpredictable, and he does have a few tricks up his sleeve that Muhammad needs to be really careful of. Edwards is a nasty striker who's super calculated. He doesn't throw a ton of shots and is very sniper-like in that regard. He waits patiently for his opportunity to lock in his target and then go for the kill. Muhammad is a lot more reckless in comparison. He has an awkward forward pressing style, and although that helps him secure those takedowns, it leaves him open to counters. And if we know one thing about the Brit, however, Muhammad is always active in the octagon. From a distance, he's constantly throwing kicks whenever he gets the chance. Though he mostly fights from an orthodox stance, he uses both legs to kick. When he's circling, Muhammad is adept at changing directions and timing his opponent's steps. When he's pressuring, he'll often throw a jab or a feint before launching a kick. Muhammad also has insane cardio, so unless Edwards knocks him out, he won't take his foot off the gas. The Palestinian-American will keep pressing forward and fight in the clinch, and he'll have Edwards on his toes for as long as the fight lasts. It's true that Belal's style is boring for many. He doesn't have flashy moves on the feet. He doesn't unleash ground and pound like Khabib or submit people like Charles Oliveira. But he mixes it all up really well. And he's definitely a live underdog come fight night. The fight takes place in Manchester, England, and Edwards will naturally have more support. That can either fuel the fire in him to go for the knockout or make him choke under pressure. And I feel it'll be the former since he already beat Kamaru Usman at UFC 286 in London. All in all, it's an intriguing fight. But I feel Edwards has the upper hand in a lot of areas against Belal Muhammad, and he shouldn't have a problem securing a win with the crowd backing him to the hilt. Who do you guys think will win at UFC 304? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.